I welcome you to my 6th Standard English class. How are you children? Okay, fine. Are you living with your family? Yes. How many members are there in your family? There are 4 members in my family. Me, my husband and my 2 daughters. How many members are there in your family? Yes. Do you have your grandparents with you? Okay. Do you like them? Yes. Now, let's draw a family tree. First of all, you ask your parents about your grandparents and their great grandparents for drawing this family tree. Here, you have to write your name. Then, your mother, father. Then, grandfather, grandmother, grandfather. You have to write their names here. Grandmother, here also grandfather. Then, this grandmother's mother, great grandmother, great grandfather. This grandfather's mother and father, great grandmother, great grandfather. Here also this grandmother's and this grandfather's parents. Then you have to fill the family tree. Okay. Then we have our first unit, Reign of Love. Here the story, Life with the Grandfather. Life with the grandfather. It is an autobiographical account by cartoonist Shankar. Depicts an interesting story of Raja, a little boy growing up under the care of his grandfather. Have you heard about cartoonist Shankar? He was born in Kerala at Kayankulam. This story was an autobiographical account by cartoonist Shankar, and here depicts the story of Raja, a little boy who was growing up under the care of his grandfather. The events in the story reveal the strong bond of love among the family members. Let's read and enjoy the story. Please take your text and turn to page number 11. My home. Everybody called me Raja. It is not my real name, but I liked being called Raja. I lived with my grandfather and grandmother. They were my guardians. My mother died when I was young. My father left me with my grandparents who brought me up. Everybody called me Raja. A boy is introduced in the story. His name is Raja. It is not his real name, but I liked being called Raja. Raja is not his real name, but he liked to call him as Raja. I lived with my grandfather and grandmother. They were my guardians. Who were his guardians? His grandfather and grandmother. My mother died when I was young. What happened to his mother? His mother died when he was young. My father left me with my grandparents who brought me up. Now his grandparents are bringing him up. We lived in a large house, but we were a small family. There were grandfather, grandmother, uncle, and I. We had many relatives, but they lived in their own houses. We lived in a large house. How many members are there in Raja's family? his grandfather, his grandmother, his uncle, and he. We had many relatives, but they lived in their own houses. Grandfather was a tall, strong man. He always spoke in a loud voice. He knew everyone in the village. People respected him. They came to him for advice and help. Grandfather was a tall, strong man. He always spoke in a loud voice. What about his grandfather's voice? Loud voice. What kind of man was he? He was a tall and strong man. He knew everyone in the village. People respected him. Respected Bahumani here. People respected him. They came to him for advice and help. Advice. Advice. Advice means Upadesha. Another word, another advice, A-D-V-I-S-E. This is the verb. This advice is verb, but this advice is noun. Upadesha, Upadeshikika. You have to notice the difference between these two words. Here C, but here S-E. S-E is in verb, but C noun. He always spoke in a loud voice. He knew everyone in the village. People respected him. They came to him for advice and help. Now look at the first question. Do you think Raja's grandfather was a man respected by everyone? Yes. Pick out sentences from the story to justify your answer. You have to go through the third paragraph and find out the lines. And people respected him. They came to him for advice and help. That's the answer. Then, grandmother was kind and gentle. She took good care of me. She would follow me like a shadow, saying, "Drink this milk, or eat your food, or have your bath, or go to bed." I did not like this, but still I loved her very much. What kind of a lady was his grandmother? She was kind and gentle. Grandmother was kind and gentle. She took good care of me. She would follow me like a shadow. His grandmother followed him like a shadow, saying, "Drink this milk or eat your food, have your bath or go to bed." I did not like this, but still I loved her very much. His grandma cared him very much. Then pick out the sentences from the story to justify your answer. His grandma followed him like a shadow, and you have to notice these sentences. She would follow me like a shadow, saying, "Drink this milk or eat your food or have your bath or go to bed." Second question, what will you feel if somebody insists you to do something? Then what is your feeling? Yes, we will be irritated. We will be irritated. Then, what about his uncle? My uncle was young and very clever. He helped the grandfather in looking after his fields and gardens. People liked him, and I too liked him very much. Whenever I was in trouble, uncle would come to my help. Then his uncle, this paragraph is about his uncle. His uncle was young and very clever. He helped grandfather in looking after his fields and gardens. He always helped his grandfather to the activities of the farming activities and gardening. People liked him, and I too liked him very much. Whenever I was in trouble, uncle would come to my help. Then third question, who helps you in your family when you are in trouble? You have to write either your father or mother or sister or brother. Then next page. At home, I did not have any friend to play with. Grandfather did not like my going out to play with other children. He believed that I would be spoiled if I did so. Other children did not like to come to our house because they were afraid of grandfather. At home, I did not have any friend to play with because there were no children of his own age at that family, because there are only his grandfather, grandmother and uncle. Grandfather did not like me going out to play with the other children. He believed that I would be spoiled if I did so. Grandfather did not allow our Raja to go out for playing with others. Why? Because Grandpa believed that he would be spoiled by other children. Other children did not like to come to our house because they were afraid of grandfather. Why did the other children not like to come to Raja's house? Because they were afraid of his grandfather. Then here we have a picture, a beautiful picture is given to us. Here we can see Raja is playing with some other animals. Then we can go through the next paragraph. Yet life with the grandfather was not dull. I liked my home and the very large garden all around it. There were many trees in the garden, coconut trees, mango trees and other kinds of trees. There were birds, butterflies and honeybees. There were many tanks with plenty of fish in them. Kingfishers, storks and other water birds came to the tanks to catch the fish. Yet life with the grandfather was not dull. Dull anda mushichille. Life with the grandfather was not dull. I liked my home and very large garden all around it. പക്ഷേ ഗ്രാൻഡ്ഫാദറിനോട് ഒപ്പമുള്ള അവൻ്റെ ജീവിതം അവന് ഒട്ടും ഒരു ബോറിംഗ് ആയിരുന്നില്ല. ഐ ലൈക്ഡ് മൈ ഹോം ആൻഡ് ദ വെരി ലാർജ് ഗാർഡൻ ഓൾ അറൗണ്ട് ഇറ്റ്. വലിയ ഗാർഡനൊക്കെ ഉണ്ട് ആ വീട്ടിൽ. There were many trees in the garden. Which are the trees in the garden? Which were the trees? Coconut trees, mango trees and other kinds of trees. Then there were different types of birds. There were butterflies and honeybees. There were many tanks with plenty of fish in them. There were a lot of fish tanks having plenty of fish. Kingfishers. Kingfisher? Ponman. Kingfishers, storks. Storks, cock. Storks means cock. And other water birds came to the tanks to catch the fish. Then, next paragraph. In a corner of the compound was a grove where trees, shrubs and creepers grew wild. Jackals, mongooses, wild cats and owls lived in the grove. In a corner of the compound was a grove. Grove means a തോട്ടം, where trees, shrubs and creepers grew wild. In that grove, there were trees, shrubs and creepers. Then jackal, mongooses, wild cats and owls lived in the grove. What are the animals lived in the grove? Jackals, mongooses, wild cats, owls. Jackals, mongooses, wild cats and owls lived in the grove. We had many cows, bulls and bullocks. Little cows played and ran about in our garden. We had many cows. We had also cows, bulls and bullocks and little cows. Calf, young one of the cow. Calf, young one of the cow. The plural and calves. Usually the words, the nouns ending with f can be changed into bes when it changed its plural. അപ്പം എഫിൽ അവസാനിക്കുന്ന മിക്കവാറും നൗൺസ് പ്ലൂറൽ ആകുന്ന സമയത്ത് എഫ് മാറ്റിയിട്ട് നമ്മൾ അതിൻ്റെ കൂടെ VS ചേർക്കുന്നു. കാവ്സ്, CALVES. നൈഫ്, knives. Here the last letter is E, but E is not pronounced here. E നമ്മളിവിടെ സൈലന്റ് ആണ്, അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് നമ്മൾ എഫ് സൗണ്ട് ആണ് നോക്കുന്നത്. എഫ് മാറിയിട്ട് VS ആകുന്നു. leaves. We had many cows, bulls and bullocks. Little cows played and ran about in our garden. I liked to play with the cows and I liked to watch the birds in the garden. I looked for jackals coming out of the grove. I ran after the mongooses and I caught butterflies and reptiles. I liked to play with the cows and I liked to watch the birds in the garden. Then I looked for jackals coming out of the grove. I waited for the jackals to come out. I ran after mongooses and I caught butterflies and reptiles. Reptiles means ഉരകങ്ങൾ, ഇഴഞ്ഞ് സഞ്ചരിക്കുന്ന ജീവികൾ, reptiles. I liked to play with the cows and I liked to watch the birds in the garden. I looked for jackals coming out of the grove. I ran after the mongooses and I caught butterflies and reptiles. Then fourth question. We saw many things around the Raja's house. List them out. First is given coconut tree. Then you go through the paragraph given under this picture. Coconut tree, yes, mango tree, other kinds of trees. Then birds, butterflies, honeybees, tanks with fish, jackals, mongooses, wild cats, owls, etc. What bring more color to Raja's life? Playing with the cows, watching birds, looking for jackals, running after the mongooses and catching butterflies and reptiles all bring color to Raja's life. Once again, what brings more color to Raja's life? Playing with the cows, watching birds, looking for jackals, running after mongooses and catching butterflies and reptiles all bring color to Raja's life. We have a question. Describe Raja's garden. You have to describe Raja's garden. അപ്പോൾ ഈ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ്റെ ആൻസർ ഈ വീഡിയോയുടെ അവസാനം നിങ്ങൾക്കായി തരുന്നുണ്ട്. Okay, we can stop here.